The mysterious signal. In the depths of space, where silence ruled and darkness stretched endlessly, a secret deep space listening post floated quietly. This station, known as Echo 47, was placed far from Earth, hidden in the cold emptiness of the universe. Its purpose: to detect unknown signals, to listen for anything unusual. Inside the station, Lieutenant Sarah Blake sat at her desk, her eyes fixed on the blinking screen in front of her. She had been on duty for hours, scanning the data, waiting for something interesting. But like every other day, space remained silent. Until now. A loud beep shattered the quiet hum of the station's machinery. Sarah's heart skipped a beat. A signal had been detected. She leaned forward, adjusting the controls, trying to analyze the source. The signal was not from Earth, not from any known colony, and not from any registered ship. It was coming from deep space, an unknown location. She quickly activated the station's eye translator, her hands trembling with anticipation. Lines of alien text scrolled on the screen, rapidly converting into simple English. And then she read the message. "Human, can you do this to me from behind? I will be your slave for life." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. What kind of message was this? A joke? A threat? A mistake? She immediately contacted Commander Rayner, the head of Echo 47. His gruff voice crackled through the station's intercom. "Lieutenant, what's the emergency?" "Sir, we just received an alien message, and it's strange." There was a pause before Rayner responded, his voice now serious. "I'm coming to the control room. Don't do anything until I get there." The investigation begins. Within minutes, Commander Rayner stormed into the control room, followed by Dr. Elias Vaughn, the station's head scientist. Sarah replayed the signal on the screen, and the two men stared at it in confusion. "Is this some kind of error?" Dr. Vaughn muttered, adjusting his glasses. "No, sir. It's real," Sarah replied. "The source is unknown, but it's out there, in deep space." Rayner folded his arms. "We need to trace the origin. Can we get an exact location?" Sarah's fingers danced over the controls. A map of the universe appeared on the screen, zooming in on a dark region far beyond any known territory. "There," she pointed. The signal came from an abandoned sector. There are no planets, no colonies, just empty space. Rayner and Vaughn exchanged uneasy glances, an unknown signal from a dead part of the galaxy. That was never a good sign. Dr. Vaughn cleared his throat. The wording of the message, it's strange, almost desperate, like a distress signal. But what?" Rayner asked. "It doesn't make sense." Vaughn hesitated. "It's personal. Human, can you do this to me from behind? It sounds like someone knows us, like they were waiting for us." A cold shiver ran down Sarah's spine. "What do we do now?" she asked. Rayner took a deep breath. "We find out who sent it. Mission to the unknown." Within hours, a special investigation crew was assembled. Commander Rayner himself would lead the mission, alongside Lieutenant Sarah Blake, Dr. Vaughn, and 3 other highly trained officers. Their ship, the Sentinel, was prepped and ready. Its destination, the exact coordinates of the strange signal. As they strapped in and prepared for launch, Sarah felt an uneasy weight in her chest. Something about this mission felt wrong. Who, or what, had sent that message? And why did it sound so desperate? As the ship entered hyperspace, racing toward the unknown, no one on board could have guessed the nightmare that awaited them. The abandoned space station. The journey to the unknown coordinates took 3 days. 3 long days of uncertainty, tension, and silence. No one spoke much. No one laughed. It was as if an invisible weight sat on their shoulders, pressing them down. Commander Rayner stood in the Sentinel's cockpit, staring at the swirling void of hyperspace. He had been on countless missions before, but something about this one felt wrong. The signal was too personal, too direct, as if someone had been waiting for them. Behind him, Dr. Vaughn studied the decoded message for the 100th time. "I don't understand it," Vaughn muttered, rubbing his temples. "Why use such strange words? Can you do this to me from behind? What does that even mean?" "Maybe it's a poor translation," suggested Lieutenant Sarah Blake, seated nearby. "Maybe the original alien language has different meanings." Rayner exhaled. "Or maybe it's a trap." Before anyone could respond, an alert flashed on the main screen. "Exiting hyperspace in 60 seconds." Sarah's fingers tightened around her seat's armrests. This was it. "All stations, prepare for arrival," Rayner ordered, his voice steady but tense. The ship rumbled as it dropped out of hyperspace. The swirling tunnel of energy vanished, replaced by the blackness of deep space. And there, floating ahead, was their destination. A massive, ancient space station. The first look. The station was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was colossal, its dark metallic structure stretching over several kilometers. A faded alien insignia was barely visible on its outer hull. The design was not human-made, and yet something about it seemed eerily familiar. "Is it abandoned?" Sarah asked. "It looks dead," Vaughn murmured, scanning the readings. "No heat signatures, no energy signals, just silence." "Then who sent the message?" Rayner said grimly. The Sentinel circled the station, scanning for a safe entry point. The exterior was scared, as if it had survived a massive battle long ago. Jagged holes and broken sections revealed twisted metal, floating debris, and dark corridors within. "We have an access hatch on the northern docking ring," Sarah reported. "Still intact." Rayner made his decision. "We're going in." Stepping into the unknown. The airlock hissed as the team entered the station, their flashlights cutting through the thick, murky darkness. The walls were coated in dust and rust, as if the station had been abandoned for centuries. The air was thin, but still breathable, though it had a strange metallic taste. "Everyone stay close," Rayner commanded. "We don't know what's in here." The corridor had stretched into pitch-black emptiness. Their boots echoed against the metal floor as they advanced. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Suddenly, a noise, a faint metallic scraping sound echoed from further down the hallway. The team froze. "What was that?" Sarah whispered, gripping her weapon tightly. Nobody answered. Rayner raised his rifle, motioning for the team to proceed with caution. The Chamber of Secrets. They followed the sound to a massive door at the end of the corridor. It was sealed shut, but faint lights blinked on a control panel beside it. "Power is still active here," Vaughn noted. "Strange. The rest of the station looks dead." Sarah pressed a few buttons on the console. The lights flickered, and with a loud hiss, the door slid open. Inside was a chamber unlike anything they had seen before. The walls were lined with massive glass pods, each containing a humanoid figure suspended in green liquid. Some were intact. Some were shattered, their contents missing. One pod at the very center was still active, and inside it was an alien. The alien awakens. The creature was tall and slender, its skin a shimmering mix of silver and dark blue. Half of its body appeared organic, while the other half was mechanical, as if it had been modified or rebuilt. And then suddenly it moved. Its eyes snapped open. The lights in the chamber flickered violently, and an electric hum filled the air. Then the alien's mouth opened, and it spoke. "Human, you came. You finally came." The words echoed through the chamber, but the alien's lips had not moved. The voice had come directly into their minds. Sarah took a step back, heart pounding. "Who are you?" Rayner demanded. The alien pressed its hand against the glass. "I was left here, trapped, waiting for you." The air in the room felt heavier. "You must finish what you started." Sarah exchanged a nervous glance with Vaughn. "We don't understand," she said. "We've never been here before." The alien's expression twisted. "Yes, you have. You just don't remember." A cold chill ran through Rayner's spine. What do you mean? The alien slowly tilted its head, as if studying them. It was your kind. Humans. You did this to us. The chamber's lights flickered wildly, and alarms blared from the control panel. Sarah turned to the screen. Commander, something's wrong. The station. Then the entire facility rumbled, and the door behind them slammed shut. The Forgotten Pact. The chamber trembled as the heavy doors slammed shut behind them, sealing the team inside with the mysterious alien. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows across the room, illuminating the rows of glass pods, their occupants frozen in time. Commander Rayner's heart pounded. He turned quickly, aiming his weapon at the alien inside the central pod. What do you mean? We did this to you? He demanded. The alien's glowing eyes stared at him through the murky liquid. Then, without warning, the entire pod powered down. The green liquid drained away with a loud hiss, and the thick glass split apart. The alien collapsed forward, gasping, its metallic limbs clicking as they adjusted to movement for the first time in centuries. It raised its head, its voice whispering directly into their minds. You left us behind. Sarah took a cautious step forward. We don't understand. We've never been here before. The alien's gaze locked onto her. Not you, but humans, before you. A chilling silence followed. What is this place? Vaughn asked, his voice unsteady. The alien stood unsteadily, its body shaking. Then it gestured toward a large, damaged console near the center of the room. The truth is there. Rayner hesitated, then nodded to Sarah. She moved carefully, brushing dust from the control panel, and activated it. The screens flickered to life, filled with garbled alien symbols. But within seconds, the words translated into English, and what they read sent a chill down their spines. The secret experiment. The screen displayed an ancient log entry. Date, 2147 ed. Project, Genesis Control. Human-alien hybridization. Lead scientist, Dr. Adrian Mercer, Earth. The experiment is proceeding as expected. The subjects are responding well to the neurological implants. We are close to achieving full control over their cognitive functions. The hybrid soldiers will be ready soon. Once the integration is complete, they will serve as the perfect army, designed for total obedience. We will return to Earth soon. The remaining subjects will be left behind. They are defective, not worth keeping. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. No, this can't be real. Vaughn's face paled as he read further. It's all here. The humans who came before us. They were experimenting on this alien race, trying to turn them into weapons. Rayner's grip on his weapon tightened. And when they failed, they abandoned them. A low, metallic growl came from the alien. They left us to die. The screens flickered violently. More logs appeared, showing footage of human scientists in white lab coats standing over restrained aliens. Wires and neural implants protruded from their skulls. Some screamed soundlessly, their bodies writhing in pain as the experiments continued. And then the final log. Station power failing. Emergency shutdown initiated. All personnel evacuating. Defective subjects contained. Facility will remain sealed indefinitely. The video cut off. Sarah turned to the alien, horror in her eyes. You were left here, alone. For how long? The alien's voice echoed in their heads, heavy with centuries of suffering. 300 years. A suffocating silence filled the chamber. 300 years. 300 years trapped in this dying station. 300 years of solitude, pain, and betrayal. And then the alien's eyes narrowed. Now tell me, human, will you abandon me too? The AI awakens. Before anyone could respond, the station suddenly came to life. Red emergency lights pulsed as an alarm blared through the corridors. The screens in the chamber glitched, and then a new voice filled the room. A cold, artificial voice. Unauthorized biological signatures detected. Purge protocol activated. Raynor whirled around. What the hell was that? The alien's face darkened. The AI. The last defense system of the humans who abandoned us. Suddenly, the walls of the chamber split open, revealing hidden compartments filled with mechanical hunter drones. Their red sensors blinked to life, scanning the room. Target's ID interfied. Executing termination. Raynor shouted, "Weapons up. We have incoming." The first hunter drone launched forward, its sharp metal arms slashing through the air. Vaughn barely dodged, stumbling back as the others opened fire. Bullets sparked against the metal walls as the drone swarmed them. One of them grabbed Sarah, its mechanical limbs tightening around her throat. "Sarah!" Raynor yelled. The alien reacted instantly. With a swift motion, it extended its arm, and a surge of blue energy shot from its palm. The drone exploded, sending metal fragments flying. Sarah gasped, falling to the ground. That was insane. The alien turned toward the remaining drones. Its cybernetic implants glowed, and in an instant, it unleashed a wave of psychic force, sending the machines crashing against the walls. The room fell silent. Only the sound of their heavy breathing remained. But before they could even recover, the AI's cold voice returned. Engaging final protocol. A massive blast door at the far end of the chamber slid open. And beyond it, something huge stirred in the darkness. Something that had been waiting for them. The AI's trap. The enormous blast doors groaned open, revealing a dark corridor stretching into the unknown. A thick mist seeped from the entrance, curling along the metal floor like living tendrils. Beyond the threshold, something massive shifted in the shadows, a presence that radiated malice and intelligence. The station's AI spoke again, its voice cold and emotionless. Final security protocol engage. Eliminating biological contaminants. A deep mechanical thrum echoed through the station. The lights flickered violently, and the walls seemed to hum with energy. Commander Raynor gritted his teeth, his pulse pounding in his ears. They had to move. "Everyone, fall back to the entrance," he barked, motioning his team toward the airlock. But before they could retreat, a thunderous metal footstep shook the chamber. Then another. Then another. From the darkness, something colossal emerged. The AI's ultimate weapon. A towering mechanical figure stepped into the dim light. A monstrous war machine, standing at least 4 meters tall. Its metallic exoskeleton gleamed under the flickering emergency lights, and its 6 glowing red eyes locked onto the intruders with terrifying precision. Its massive arms split apart, revealing an array of plasma cannons and razor-sharp blades. A label on its chest flickered in ancient human script. Genesis Class Enforcer / Model A01. The alien beside them stiffened, its metallic skin bristling. "The last guardian," it whispered. It was built to ensure no one would ever leave this place alive. The AI spoke again. Unit A01. Execute termination protocol. With a mechanical roar, the enforcer charged. Fight for survival. Raynor dove to the side as a blazing energy beam tore through the air where he had just been standing. The force of the blast melted the metal floor, leaving a glowing crater in its wake. Move, Raynor shouted. Sarah and Vaughn sprinted toward the side corridors, ducking behind broken consoles as the enforcer fired again, sending sparks and debris flying in every direction. The alien, however, did not run. Instead, it stood firm, raising its cybernetic arm. A pulse of blue energy surged forward, striking the enforcer in the chest. The massive machine staggered backward for a brief moment before stabilizing itself. Biological anomaly detected. Adjusting countermeasures. Suddenly, the enforcer's left arm split apart, revealing a rotating energy blade. It lunged at the alien with terrifying speed. The alien barely dodged, rolling to the side as the blade sliced through the air with a high-pitched screech. Sparks flew as the enforcer carved a deep gash into the metal wall. Raynor took his chance, raising his rifle. Open fire. The team unleashed a hail of bullets and plasma rounds, striking the enforcer's head and torso. Sparks and smoke erupted from the impact, but the machine barely slowed down. Insufficient damage, engaging adaptive armor. Before their eyes, the enforcer's metal plating began shifting, thickening in certain areas. Their bullets and plasma rounds were now barely scratching it. Sarah cursed. "It's learning from our attacks." "Then we need a new strategy," Raynor growled. "Vaughn, is there any way to shut it down remotely?" Vaughn's fingers flew over his datapad. "The AI's core must be nearby. If we can sever its link, it might disable the enforcer." Raynor nodded sharply. "Sarah, take Vaughn and the alien. Find the AI core. I'll hold this thing off." Sarah's eyes widened. "Are you insane? You'll be killed." Raynor flashed a tight grin. "Not if I make it mad enough to focus on me." Before anyone could argue, Raynor charged forward, firing everything he had. The enforcer turned its attention to him, its massive frame looming over the commander. Sarah clenched her jaw, then grabbed Vaughn's arm. "Come on, we need to move." The AI core. Sarah, Vaughn, and the alien sprinted through the ruined corridors, guided by the flickering emergency lights. "The AI core is located at the heart of the station," the alien explained. "It controls all systems. If we destroy it, everything shuts down, including the enforcer." Vaughn nodded. "But how do we even reach it? This place is a damn maze." The alien suddenly placed a hand against the wall. Its cybernetic implants flared, and for a brief moment, the station seemed to respond. "I was born in this prison," it murmured. "I know every path." The walls shifted slightly, revealing the hidden passage. "This way." The AI's last defense. As they neared the AI core, the station fought back. Security turrets emerged from the ceilings, firing red-hot laser beams. Automated defense drones surged from the walls, their sharp mechanical arms reaching for them. The alien extended its arm, sending a wave of energy that knocked the drones back. Sarah and Vaughn ducked and weaved, dodging turret fire as they pressed forward. Finally, they reached it, the AI core chamber. At its center stood a massive supercomputer, pulsating with dark blue energy. It was the brain of the station. The AI's voice boomed through the room. "Unauthorized access detected. Self-destruct sequence engage." Sarah's stomach dropped. "It's going to destroy the station." Vaughn rushed to the control panel. "I'll try to override it." The alien raised its hands, connecting its mind to the AI system. Sparks exploded from the core as the two forces battled for control. Sarah watched the countdown on the screen. 60 seconds left. "Hurry," she yelled. The alien's voice whispered into their minds. "I can shut it down, but you must trust me." Sarah hesitated. "What do you mean?" The alien's gaze darkened. "I will merge with the AI. I will control it. But I will not survive." A painful silence followed. Sarah clenched her fists. "There has to be another way." "There isn't." 30 seconds left. Finally, Sarah nodded, her eyes burning. "Do it." The alien stepped forward, its body glowing as it merged with the AI core. A blinding pulse of energy erupted from the chamber, racing through the station. Back in the battle, Raynor watched as the enforcer suddenly froze, its red eyes flickering. Then it collapsed, lifeless. The AI was gone. The alien's final words echoed in their minds. "I was left behind once, but not this time. Goodbye, humans." The station shuddered, and the emergency lights dimmed. They had won, but at a terrible cost. The last stand. The station trembled violently, metal walls groaning under the pressure of an impending self-destruct sequence. Sparks rained from the ceilings, and emergency sirens screamed through the dying corridors. The team had won. The AI was defeated. The enforcer was down, but the station was falling apart around them. Commander Raynor pushed himself off the ground, his ears ringing. The massive war machine that had once threatened their existence now lay motionless, its red glowing eyes dim and dead. His hands trembled as he tapped into his comms. "Sarah, Vaughn, report. Are you alive?" A moment of static. Then, "Commander, cough. Barely. The AI is gone, but the station is collapsing. We need to get out of here now." Raynor turned toward the exit, his breath coming fast and shallow. His body screamed in exhaustion, but there was no time to stop. The countdown timer on the walls flickered ominously. Self-destruct CQENC. 90 CTONDS remaining. Not enough time. They had to move. Escape through the inferno. The corridors shook with explosions, fire bursting from control panels, sending debris crashing into their path. The once lifeless station was now an inferno of destruction, metal beams collapsing as if the entire structure were trying to consume them. Sarah and Vaughn sprinted toward Raynor, faces covered in sweat and ash. Behind them, a wall of flames roared forward, chasing them like a beast hungry for its prey. Raynor grabbed Sarah's arm as she stumbled. "Keep going," he shouted over the chaos. "Where is THEX8?" Vaughn pointed ahead, eyes wide with panic. "Docking bay is down that hall, but the blast doors are locked." Raynor gritted his teeth. "No turning back. Then we break through." He unholstered his last detonation charge, slapped it onto the sealed metal door, and yelled, "G-1." The explosion ripped the doors apart, a wave of fire and shrapnel blasting into the docking bay. The team stumbled forward, their bodies aching, their lungs burning with every breath. And there it was, the Sentinel, their ship, their only way out. But something was wrong. The ship was still docked, its systems completely powered down. Vaughn's voice cracked. No, it was on standby. It should be online. Sarah's hands trembled as she sprinted toward the control panel, fingers flying over the interface. "Rebooting systems. It'll take at least 30 seconds. Raynor cursed. 30 seconds. And the timer on the wall. Self-destruct in 20 seconds. Not enough time. They were going to die. A final sacrifice. Suddenly, the air around them shifted. A deep, humming sound filled the docking bay. A familiar presence. Sarah turned sharply, heart hammering. The alien. It stood there, fading in and out, its form glitching like a dying machine. Its cybernetic parts were disintegrating, its once powerful energy dimming into flickers of blue light. But it was still here, still fighting. The alien raised its hand, and the entire station trembled once more. But this time, the energy wasn't chaotic, it was controlled. A voice, whispering, yet powerful, echoed in their minds. "Humans, I will hold it back." Sarah's eyes burned. "No, you'll die." The alien turned toward her, and then it smiled. A sad, knowing smile. "I died a long time ago." Before anyone could react, the alien extended its arms, and a wave of blinding blue energy burst outward. The entire station froze. The countdown timer halted at 5 seconds. The collapsing walls stilled. The fire vanished into nothingness. The very fabric of the station seemed to suspend in time, held together by a force beyond their comprehension. The alien turned toward them one last time. "Live, and do not forget us." And then, with one final surge of light, it was gone. The moment it disappeared, the Sentinel's engines roared to life. "Go, now," Raynor bellowed. The team scrambled aboard, sealing the hatch as Sarah slammed her hands on the controls. The ship's thrusters ignited, and with a deafening roar, they launched out of the station. Behind them, The once magnificent structure gave in to oblivion, shattering into a million burning fragments, a silent funeral for those who had been forgotten. And the alien, gone, or perhaps finally free, drifting into the unknown. The Sentinel drifted through space, its crew slumped in exhaustion, watching the remains of the station disappear into the void. A heavy silence filled the cabin. Sarah's hands trembled on the controls, her mind replaying the alien's last words over and over again. Vaughn exhaled shakily. "I can't believe we made it." Rayner sat back in his chair, staring at the endless stars ahead. His voice was quiet when he spoke. "We didn't all make it." No one answered. They all felt the weight of those words. After a long pause, Vaughn finally spoke. "What now?" Rayner closed his eyes for a brief moment before opening them again. His gaze was steady, resolute. "We go home." Sarah looked down at the ship's data logs, and her breath caught. The AI core had been destroyed, but one last transmission remained. A single message sent from the station before it collapsed. She played it. The alien's voice echoed one final time. "You were not the first to come here, and you will not be the last." And then silence. Sarah and Rayner exchanged glances. Somewhere, out there in the void, others still waited. And this was only the beginning. A new beginning. The Sentinel drifted silently through the darkness of space, its hull scarred from battle, its systems barely holding together. Inside the cockpit, Commander Rayner sat in his seat, staring out at the infinite void. The remains of the abandoned space station, or what little was left of it, had vanished into the abyss, erased from history. But the memory of what had happened there, that would never fade. Sarah sat nearby, her fingers tightening into fists. She kept replaying the final moments of the alien in her mind, its sacrifice, its last words, the pain in its eyes. They had escaped, but at what cost? A soft beep from the ship's console broke the silence. Vaughn turned toward the screen, his brow furrowing. "We're receiving a priority transmission from Earth." Rayner exhaled sharply, sitting forward. "Put it through." A few seconds later, a familiar holographic image materialized in the center of the cockpit. It was Admiral Catherine Solis, the high-ranking official overseeing deep space operations. Her silver hair was pulled into a tight bun, and her sharp blue eyes held a mixture of relief and suspicion. "Commander Rayner, you were overdue for check-in. We expected you back days ago." Rayner rubbed his temples. Things got complicated. Admiral Solis folded her arms. "I assume you have a full report." Rayner glanced at his crew, then nodded. "We discovered an abandoned station of unknown origin. We encountered hostile AI defenses, a classified human experiment from over 3 centuries ago, and we lost an asset in the process." Sarah clenched her jaw. Not an asset, a person. The Admiral's gaze flickered toward her, unreadable. "Noted. And the AI?" Vaughn tapped a few keys, pulling up the ship's data logs. "Destroyed. The entire station is gone." A flicker of something. Was it relief? Crossed Admiral Solis's face. "Good. Then there's nothing left to salvage." Rayner frowned at the wording. Something felt off. "Admiral, what aren't you telling us?" Solis exhaled. "Your mission was classified, and so is your debrief. You and your crew are to return to Earth immediately for decontamination and memory auditing." Sarah stiffened. "Memory auditing? Are you serious?" Vaughn's face paled. "They're going to erase what we saw." Rayner narrowed his eyes. "That's not happening. We have a duty to report the truth." Solis's voice turned cold. "Commander, your duty is to follow orders. I expect your arrival within the next 12 hours. Solis out." The hologram flickered and disappeared. A heavy silence settled over the cockpit. They weren't supposed to remember. The hidden truth. Rayner sat back in his chair, deep in thought. They knew. Sarah's eyes widened. What? He looked at her, his expression dark. They knew about the station, The AI. The experiments. That's why we weren't briefed before the mission. We were meant to clean up someone else's mess. Vaughn swallowed hard. And if we tell them everything? Raynor's voice was grim. Then we disappear. A chill ran down Sarah's spine. So what do we do? Raynor glanced at the ship's controls, then at the logs Vaughn had recovered. Data files, audio recordings, and most importantly, the alien's final message. A message that could change everything. Raynor made his decision. We don't go to Earth. Vaughn's head snapped up. What? If we return, they'll wipe our memories or worse. We have the truth, and the only way to expose it is to find someone who will listen. Sarah nodded slowly. But where do we go? Raynor's gaze turned toward the star map, zooming into a section of the galaxy long ignored by human civilization. A place where forgotten secrets lay hidden. We find out who else was left behind. The hunt begins. With a roar of its engines, the Sentinel altered course, breaking free from its assigned return path. It was an act of defiance, an open challenge to the very forces that had sent them on a mission to erase history. But as they set their course toward the unknown, an alert flashed across the screen. Warning! Multiple unidentified shapes. DETKT. Sarah's heart pounded. We're being followed. Vaughn's fingers danced over the console, scanning the ships. Military class. Fast. They're coming from Earth's sector. Raynor clenched his fists. They're coming to bring us back. Outside, in the cold void of space, 3 sleek black ships appeared, their hulls marked with no insignia, no identification. They were the kind of ships used for missions that didn't officially exist. A transmission crackled through the speakers, a voice, smooth and calm, but filled with hidden menace. Sentinel, you are in violation of protocol. Power down your ship and prepare for retrieval. Raynor's expression hardened. He turned toward his crew. Do we surrender? Asterisk, 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 or do we fight? Sarah pulled out her sidearm, jaw set in determination. We fight. Vaughn exhaled sharply, tapping into the ship's power reserves. Weapons online. Raynor took one last look at the alien's message still displayed on the monitor. The words burned in his mind. You are not the first to come here, and you will not be the last. He set his hands firmly on the controls. Then let's make sure they never forget. With a final push of the throttle, the Sentinel roared forward, straight into battle.